So thanks so much for coming on the show then, Jade. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Of course. Firstly, thank you for having me. My name is Jade, so my business is Jade Jones, and I am a lash artist. I have a training academy, a product line, and generally I specialise in pre-made fans, which I've kind of grown to love even more over the past couple of years.
Yeah, good. So when did you start out in the beauty industry, and what did you do beforehand?
So I was a financial advisor for 10 years. I lived and worked in London, worked for a couple of companies as an advisor. Before I left, I was head of compliance for a company and took a lash course in 2014. At the time, I wasn't planning on leaving my finance job. It was kind of something to do on the side, just because I worked quite long hours in finance, but my boyfriend worked super long hours, and it used to really bug me. And I thought, I need to do something else, kind of a weekend, so I'm not bugging him. So I did the lash course and really, really loved it. I was having a bit of a tough time in my job in finance, so I left my job to find another job in finance. Thought I would do lashes in between, and practically got fully booked in my first month and decided never to go back to the finance.
Ah, how good is that? So the beauty industry isn't where you thought you would be?
Absolutely not. I mean, when I was young, I was always the girl that did everyone's makeup. And, I used to pluck at school, I used to pluck all the girls' eyebrows, and we would go to, these under 16s, under 18s clubs, and I would do everyone's hair and makeup. So I always loved it. And actually, I did do a hair extensions course in 2011. So it's kind of along the same sort of lines. But I had a friend who was in finance. She was quite young, and she was earning really good money at a really young age. And I remember thinking, I want to do that. I want to be that person. I want to earn really good money at a really young age. So I went for it. I went for a job in finance, did it for 10 years. And I think I told myself I loved it because I was doing it for such a long time. And I did so many exams. I've got so many qualifications within the industry that I kind of just thought, I can't put this to waste. And then obviously started doing the eyelashes, and now I know that I was kidding myself and telling myself that I loved it. I didn't really, and this is what I am truly, like, wholly passionate about.
Yeah, oh, that's good. So you have your salon as well. Do you still do treatments, and then do you have a team as well?
Yes, so I've got a little salon. It's actually you can see my garden in the background and the trampoline, but it's the back of the garden. So it's a log cabin, but it's pretty big. It's got like a shower room in there and a kitchen, and then there's space for 4 beds. So there are 4 of us who work in there, not all at once, and especially not when we come back. Unfortunately, it's going to be limited to 2, but there is space in there for 4 beds, and we do. All of the other girls do eyelashes, and some of them do a little bit of brows. I also do aesthetics. So I do semi-permanent makeup, I do Botox, I do fillers. And then, we've got the training academy. So there's 5 of us. Two of us train here, and the other 3 are dotted around kind of London, Kent way.
I know, that's so exciting, isn't it? What's your tips then on finding a good team and managing a team as well?
Do you know what? It's been a massive learning curve. It's really, really difficult when you start to grow a team. So I took on my first team member, Alana, 2.5 years ago. So it's only really been 2.5 that my business has grown. Before that, it was just, me day in, day out with clients. And I've definitely made mistakes along the way, but I have definitely grown. I think it's hard because when you have a team, you want to be friends with everyone, but you also need to have that discipline, which I don't think I've really had up until recently. And since I've been a bit stronger and there is a line where there never was before, my business has really grown and taken off. And I think there's a lot of respect for each other within the whole team. It's amazing. I love it.
That's good. So you're like the pre-made queen, basically. So what made you go into the product line for pre-mades, like your pre-Jades? What was the thinking behind that?
So I know I've mentioned it a couple of times to artists, but I always used pre-mades. So I trained with the Eyelash Emporium, and I went straight into using pre-mades. I can't remember how I ever found them, um, but I used them for a couple of years and then decided that I wanted to expand my business. I was kind of stuck in a rut, lashing day in, day out. I was good, but I wasn't the best. My clients were happy. And I thought at the time, I thought I want my own academy. Like, I want to grow. I want a team. And to do that, I needed to train in Russian volume. And I didn't ever train in Russian volume because I used pre-mades and I thought I never needed to. But when I trained in Russian volume, like, everything changed. I worked so much harder. I pushed myself. I became an educator. And I then trained with Maven Artistry, who is incredible. And she's very much so passionate about, like, just following your dreams and, you know, doing what's right. And she's a very firm believer in, you know, Russian volume and making your own fans. So I came home from that training and stopped using pre-made fans. I stopped Alana using pre-made fans, and we switched everyone over to Russian volume. Every single client. I increased the amount of time for my appointments. I increased my prices, and everyone was happy for me to do so on a trial basis. I reviewed it 2 months later, and almost every single person said, can we go back to the pre-made fans? Yeah. Because they didn't really notice the difference, apart from they were with me longer and they were spending more money. And that's when I kind of thought, okay, I need to listen to my clients. Ultimately, my clients are my business, but I'm not happy with the pre-made fans that I'm using. Not enough to use like 5D, 6D, 7D, which I was able to do with Russian volume. So that is when I thought there must be pre-mades out there that are good enough, that mimic Russian volume. So I spent probably just under a year searching, testing, trialing pre-made fans, trying them on all of my lash friends so they could test the retention, the curl, and finally settled on a range and launched last year. So I've only been going for just over a year, but it's been incredible. I've been so lucky. I think I hit the market just at the right time.
Yeah, so good, so good. So was that always the goal, to have products though, when you were thinking about a training academy? No,
never. I never thought I would have a product line ever. And it just kind of, it was the right natural progressive step for me. And, you know, I love it. I'm so passionate about it. And I'm so glad it happened that way. And I followed what I believed in, because it, you know, for a long time, I didn't talk about pre-mades because they were so frowned upon in the industry. So I'm just glad that I could get past that. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing with the academy or anything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely changed though, the industry, and in probably the last year, I would say, because in those forums on lash pages and things, nobody talked good about pre-made fans at first. But I think there's definitely a place now.
There is. The fans are such good quality. I completely understand why there's bad press around them. Back in the day, they weren't very good. They were really thick. They had bulky bases, and we were using more glue. Like, we weren't educated, and now we know more about them. And honestly, my pre-made fans are better than the fans I could make myself. Like, they are beautiful. So the industry is changing, and people are starting to use them more and see them more. There are still lots of people out there that disagree with them, that don't like them, but I think you need to give them a go before making judgment, because they are amazing. Obviously, there's a downside to the cost, but outside of that, I'm just, I love them.
Yeah. So then, for anyone that's working themselves at the moment, what would your advice be if they want to build a team and, you know, branch out?
I think, firstly, to get to a stage where you want to take someone else on, in my personal opinion, I got to a point where I was turning clients away. I was so busy. I had a fully booked client base and I was sending people to other artists. Obviously, I wouldn't make any money on that. They're not necessarily the same standard standard of work that I would give, or customer service. So I thought, like, it's silly. I had enough space in my room, in my lash room. Why not take on someone else? So I would say, firstly, if you've got enough clients and you're turning people away, then it's definitely the time to start thinking about it, if you've got enough space, you know, depending on where you are. And then that kind of just led on to the training for me. I think the next logical step for lots of lash artists, after speaking to lots of people recently, is once they're fully booked and they've got a client base, to potentially go into the training side of things. I mean, I don't know, could you lash all day, every day for 40 years and be happy with that? Some people could. For me, I find it quite tiring lashing all day, every day. So the training really breaks it up and gives me something else to focus on.
Yeah, that's good. So you also recently, well, I've seen it recently, I don't know if it's dead recent, but you run the LBL, is it line now? So I just wanted to have you explain a little bit more about that and why you've came up with that idea.
So Lash and Brow Line.
Yeah.
Amy Dommett and I had been talking for probably 6 months before we launched in April about doing something online, like a membership, trying to help people. And as soon as lockdown hit us, we talked about it and we thought, oh my God, this is the perfect time. Like, we don't have loads of clients, we've got time to dedicate to it. And what we wanted to do, where Amy and I have been in the industry for quite a long time, we've got lots of lash artist friends, we have this beautiful community of support. And lots of new lash artists coming into the industry don't know that exists. Yeah. So we wanted to firstly create a community for lash artists, and secondly, to educate them, to fast track their business. It's taken me, you know, a few years to get here. Amy's been working in the industry for 10 or so years. And it takes a lot of training and a lot of workshops and a lot of pushing yourself to get to the stage we're at. So we wanted to kind of fast track that for people by telling them everything we have learned and breaking up the membership month by month. So it's a 12-month membership, and each month we are focusing on a different subject. So first month is introductions, second month is everything lashes, then we've got styling, how to become an educator, how to have your own brand, how to do online courses. We're going to talk about finances and tax. So it covers everything you need basically to fast track your business. So we're calling it kind of like a business bloom. And we planned on opening it to 75 members to keep it personal, because in the last week we've been ringing every single member for catch-ups. And we ended up doing it for 100 people, and we sold out in 24 hours, which is incredible. Okay. So yeah, it's going really, really well. I actually have my first social distancing business meeting with Amy tomorrow, and we have got some more things being announced, which I'm just so excited about.
I'm excited too. I've been seeing it on social media.
I know, the Red Boss Babes, that's what we're going to call ourselves. Obviously, lots of people, when they think of me, and this is them saying it, they think of red lipstick. So it's Maids, Gold, which is my branding, and the red lipstick. So Amy loves a bit of red lipstick. It made sense. So yeah, I'm so excited to reveal it, but I kind of just have to keep it in just for a few more days.
So on the back of that, do you believe in mentors? Do you think that's important for someone in business?
Believe in what did you say? Sorry, mentors?
Like mentors.
100%. So I actually do a little bit of business mentoring with Katie Godfrey, and what it does is kind of just reiterate that you're on the right track, that you are doing the right thing, but it gives you a little bit of a push, a little bit of guidance. So lots of the people that I spoke to in the last week, they kind of know where they want to go, but it's actually pushing yourself and doing it. So by having a mentor and you're talking out loud and writing your goals, and you've got someone checking in on you and making sure you're achieving them, you push yourself to do that, and you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it to make your mentor proud. I think it's really important, and from the feedback we've had so far, so many people, and we've only done the tiniest of tasks, have just said already they are pushing themselves so far out of their comfort zone, and it's having a positive impact on their business.
Yeah, that's so good. So do you also believe then that social media, do you think that's a big part in today's business success? It's good for lash artists, I think, as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I don't think I'd have a business without social media. It's crazy to me to think how businesses pre-Instagram and Facebook were so successful, because, you know, all of my marketing and all of the marketing nowadays is done through social media. I think Instagram is a wonderful platform for lash artists to interact with other lash artists, to take inspiration from other lash artists. And I think if you are on the education side, it's brilliant for attracting students. Whereas Facebook is amazing for building up your client base, especially when you're targeting kind of 30s, 40s, 50s age range, which is what I like to target. You know, they're all on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, I agree. So younger Jade then, what were you like at school? Were you interested in business all the time? Did you grow up watching like your mum and dad in business?
My parents worked very hard. So my mum and my stepdad was a builder. My mum had a few different jobs, but she worked in property, and then she had her own business where she worked from home. So they were both very driven. So we were around, we witnessed that quite a lot. We had au pairs when we were young. School, I loved school and I worked really hard. Secondary school, I definitely got in with the naughty crowd. And you know, I had the best days of my life, but I definitely didn't work to my full ability. And my parents actually moved away when I was 16 to Devon, and I stayed where I was. So I left school. I went to college, I left, and I got a job. So I've been working and living on my own for, you know, more than half my life. So I guess by moving out when I was really young and not having much money, it has kind of motivated me and given me the work ethic that I have now, because I don't know, I feel like I always kind of want more, but in a positive way. Like I want my business to succeed and grow and help others.
Yeah, that's good. So do you believe in a positive mindset, that having a positive mindset?
100%. 100%. I have a very positive mental attitude. Don't get me wrong, we all have down days, and I have days where I'll cry it out and I'll feel sad and I'll speak to my friends to make myself feel better. But generally, I think if you try and be positive in all areas of your life, then you are just you're going to be happier. I try not to carry any negative energy. Sometimes it happens, but yeah, I'm definitely a firm believer of positivity will help in any situation, even if that just means, you know, reading an inspirational book, or taking some time out to read, or just breathing techniques, yoga. I think all of that helps for a positive mind.
Yeah. So I know that you have won a lot of awards for competitions. Do you like doing that? Do you like setting yourself goals?
I always set goals. I have set goals, and I still have them on my phone actually. Although I upgrade my phone, I have my goals from 2014 still on my phone. So at the beginning of every year, I set my goals. I don't always achieve them, but they're still there. And I think it's really important. If your goals are achievable, then you absolutely have to go for them. I set myself a goal of winning 20 awards last year, which was a massive goal, and I didn't achieve it. I did 17, but I was so happy, because if I hadn't set myself that goal of 20, I probably wouldn't have got 17, and I'm over that goal now, which is incredible. But yeah, always set goals. I'm always writing lists. I always know what I have to do on certain days. And I've been listening to a webinar, P. Louise. Have you heard of P. Louise?
Yeah, I've not been listening to a webinar or whatever.
She's done a webinar recently. I think it was free when I was listening to it, but the free period is over now. But I would 100% recommend it to anyone. She's so inspirational. She came from nothing, and she's literally just been like offered this deal for 27 million. She's in her early 20s, and she's very, very inspiring. And she talks about how to achieve your goals and to like manifest like in your mind what you want to achieve. And I found myself doing it a lot recently. Like a couple of days ago, I was just sat outside, like in my head, manifesting where I want to be in a year and a half and how I want to get there, what I have to do to get there. And I will get there. It's just, believing in yourself and making it happen. Like if it's achievable, you can do it.
Yeah, I'll need to look at that though. I have seen a few things going around on that, so I'll need to look it up.
It's brilliant. Even just her first little webinar, it's the business webinar. I literally had my pen and paper out and was making notes. And I don't usually do that listening to podcasts, because I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I need to do it. It's just, she's very clever.
Sounds good. So where do you see yourself in 10 years then?
10 years. So my ultimate goal is to be the biggest supplier for pre-made fans in the UK. And I would like that to happen before 10 years. So I guess I can't really put a time limit on it, because I need to earn some more from it to invest back into it. But hopefully, what am I now, 33? By the time I'm 40, I'll be the biggest UK supplier in pre-made fans. And then it's just to make my academy and my team a success. Like I love the fact that I can give my team opportunities and help them grow in confidence and technical ability. But to have a very successful training academy with trainers across the country would be amazing. And lots of my trainers are now winning awards, and that gives them so much confidence. So just to be an award-winning training academy, and I would love to be the biggest supplier for pre-mates.
I think that's what's going to happen then.
It's got to happen. It's achievable. I'm going to make it happen.
Definitely. So what is your best or most worthwhile investment you've made?
Definitely the pre-Jades.
Yeah.
So when I started my business, I invested quite a lot of money because I was working in finance. I'd saved quite a lot to buy a house, and I ended up moving in with my boyfriend. So I didn't buy a house, and I invested 20,000 into my business before I'd even started, because I did a semi-permanent makeup course, and then I did my eyelashes, and I revamped my little home salon. But I would say the best investment was the pre-Jades. My first order was £2,000, and I think that was November 2018. Obviously I launched last year in 2019, but £2,000, and I couldn't believe I was spending £2,000 on some eyelashes. I remember just being like, oh my God, what if it goes wrong? It's so much money, which it is, it's so much money. But now, like the amount that is invested into the business is crazy when I think back to that first investment. And it's so small. And to think what I've got now, I've got a whole unit full of pre-made fans that must be worth so much money. But at the time, that was like a huge amount of money. And so, something that I'll remember for a very long time, that feeling of it being a success when I launched in January last month.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And so in the last 5 years then, what's a new habit or belief that has improved your life?
I read a book, and I need to read it again. I talked about it earlier on in the year. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here, but the book is about basically not giving a fuck about like what people think about you. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson I could have learned, because I didn't push my business with pre-mades because I was worried about what other people thought the product, of me using them. You know, am I cheating? Am I lazy? And you know, who knows where my journey could have been if I'd done this a few years previous, like literally when no one knew about pre-made fans. Whereas now I kind of, if I want to do something, I'm going to go for it, irrelevant of what people think. Not everyone is going to be happy with what you do, but that doesn't matter. That's okay. Like, people are entitled to their own opinions. And I guess, just doing you is something that I have really, really learned and taken on board in the past year. And it's something that I say to my team and the girls, don't worry about what others think. If you're passionate about something, absolutely go for it. So just believing in yourself, really, being your own competition.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. So where can people find you on social media then?
So I have a few Instagram accounts, but my main Instagram account and my Facebook page is by Jade Jones. Of my business is Jade Jones, but unfortunately Jade Jones is taken by the gold medalist taekwondo Jade Jones. And I have a few others. So I have a separate Instagram for the Academy, which is Jade Jones Academy. A Pre-Made Pro Instagram, which is the online competition that I run annually, specifically for pre-mades. But the main one is by Jade Jones.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming on again then, Jade. It was so nice to speak to you.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really good. Thank you.
Thanks.